Hey, I'm here today because I just found out that I'm pregnant and I haven't too long lost another baby. I had a ruptured membrane and I'm really scared right now and I just have a lot of feelings going on.
Okay, it sounds like you're really going through a lot. My name is Olivia Ismail, and I'm a social worker here at the agency. Do you mind telling me your name?
Crystal.
I can tell that you're really having a lot of feelings right now and struggling with this new pregnancy just because of your previous loss of your baby, and you're feeling really fearful. I'd like to take some time, if you have time today, to sit down and learn a little bit more about what's been going on. And throughout this process, I may be asking you a lot of questions, and I may ask you to restate if I don't understand, or I may be repeating a lot of stuff. How does that sound to you?
Sounds good.
Great, then we'll get started. Just to clarify, I want you to know that I'm right here with you to support you in any way possible. And I know that this time is really difficult and confusing, and I just want you to know that I'll be here to support you through this.
Thank you, because support is exactly what I need.
Okay, good. I'll be here to support you in any way possible, but I will need something from you as well.
Okay.
What I need from you is for you to just be open and honest with me throughout the process so that I can support you in any way possible. Often it's easy for us to feel overwhelmed when we're going through something that's really difficult, like your situation right now. But I want you to know that I'm here to make your life easier through this time. I understand that you've recently had a miscarriage and you found out that you're pregnant. Can you tell me a little bit about how things have been going for the last few weeks?
Well, I've kind of been a nervous wreck for the last few weeks. I've been working 2 jobs and it's very scary because I know, I may have to let one go because of, the miscarriage. And I don't know, my feelings are all over the place right now.
Okay. So, as far as seeing doctors, what types of things have you heard from the doctors so far?
Um, Honestly, the doctor that I'm seeing, she's not very friendly. Her bedside manners are horrible. The nurses are not all that friendly. I don't think that they understand, like, how much anxiety I'm feeling right now with this baby because I really want to have this baby. But, I'm constantly hurting. I'm constantly in pain. And going back and forth to the doctor only for them to tell me that, they're round ligament pains when I'm knowing that these are the exact same pains that I had when I lost the other baby. So it's pretty scary, and it's more so scary to not have doctors that understand you. So I'm kind of at the point to where I don't know what to do.
Okay. So it sounds like the doctors are not really giving you a clear answer, and you feel like they are not valuing the input that you're giving them about how your condition is maybe worsening or how it compares to how it's been in the past.
Right.
So, Crystal, you mentioned that you had had a miscarriage before. Can you tell me a little bit about what that was like?
Yeah, I was 5 months to be exact when my water broke.
Okay.
When I first got pregnant with the last baby, I was fine up until my 5th month, and then I started hurting a lot. But I didn't really think anything about it. I just thought maybe I was doing too much, moving around too much, and so one night these cramps just came out of nowhere, and my water broke. And by me being 5 months, of course, I was thinking that maybe there's a possibility they could save the baby, this time. I had a little hope. But then when I got to the hospital, they gave me an option. They told me that I had to choose. I could, either choose to be hopeful and stay in the hospital to see if my body would rebuild another sac around the infant, or I could just go ahead and allow them to induce my labor to where I could have the baby, and of course the baby wouldn't make it unless some sort of miracle happened. And so I chose to just go ahead and let them induce it, and if it was meant for her to be here, she would have been here, but unfortunately that didn't happen. So
Well, I'm hearing a lot of hope in your story, and I know that it probably was a painful experience. I can only imagine some of the thoughts that you might have been having then and the thoughts that you're having now, being pregnant with, and you're having a boy or girl?
A boy.
Okay, with your son. So, but what I'm hearing from your story is that you were 5 months pregnant. You had no real complications until 5 months. You started to have cramps one night. That led you to go to the emergency room, and that's when you learned that you had to make a really hard decision.
Yep.
Okay. Crystal, I can only imagine the worry and troubling thoughts that you might be having now, since you recently found out that you're pregnant and you have lost your last baby at 5 months. Who are the people that you feel like you can turn to?
Besides my mom, my husband, I don't have a real big support system. My husband works away and my mom lives an hour and a half away. You know, she has her own health issues going on, so I'm kind of by myself.
Okay, so I'm hearing that you feel a little bit like you're alone, but you do have some support that's in place. It just might be harder to reach them. Is that right?
Yeah.
I do have a few thoughts that might be able to accommodate you in this situation as far as support goes for you. Would you be willing to listen to this?
Most definitely.
Crystal, in talking to you, being pregnant and going through a lot of working with the medical system, one thing that I've thought about is how you are managing your medical expenses right now. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, I qualify for Medicaid.
Okay.
So I do get that. I receive quick. Unfortunately, food stamps, not so much, just because of the income that I, receive from being a Head Start teacher. So as far as being able to purchase food, the foods that I need, it's kind of challenging when I don't have, the funds to eat the way that I should, and WIC only gives you so much.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you have some assistance that's in place, and at least you're not having to worry too much about your medical expenses, because I know with your fears about being pregnant and what's happened in the past, that's something that you really want to check off your list and not have to think about right now.
Right. And I still have a little insurance from my job as well.
Okay.
For now.
Great. You mentioned to me that you have support in the form of your husband and of your mom, but both of them are a little bit far away from you. Your situation with your pregnancy is very specialized because you have your medical condition that comes along with it. You're still trying to really figure that out. But I would like to suggest to you joining a support group that's here in the community, and it's with other mothers, expecting mothers that have recently had a miscarriage. Would you be open to going to something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, great. It sounds like your basic need right now is to gain a better understanding of what your medical condition is with this pregnancy, so you don't have some of the same complications you've had before. Is that about right?
Yeah.
Okay. I do have a list of specialty OBGYNs that I'd like to provide to you.
Okay.
I want you to know that while you're here, this is a safe space and you're safe to share all your thoughts and feelings with me.
Thank you. It's been really hard because me and my husband, we just got married, and getting pregnant this soon was not intentional. And so that's a big stressor on top of being afraid, and I don't feel like he understands why I'm always, so on edge about this pregnancy, and I can't expect him to because he's never lost a child.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm very panicky all the time. I just don't know. Some days I'm okay, some days I'm very emotional, so some are good, some are bad. But just, being on the verge of breaking down just because I feel like there's no one there to help me. The doctors are not all that supportive, and it's just like, what's it going to take for somebody to help me? Who do I need to see? Who do I need to talk to? because I really do feel like I'm in this by myself. And with, my husband not understanding the emotional stress that I'm under, that puts a strain on our marriage, on our relationship, because I want him to understand. I want him to be more supportive, but how can he when he doesn't get it at all?
So it sounds like you've kind of been on the roller coaster. You have some good days and you're up,
Yes.
and bad days when you're down. And your husband's not really providing you with that emotional support that you're looking for because he's not understanding and he hasn't been through the same things that you've been through.
Right.
Okay. I'm not getting the impression from you that you would ever want to do anything to harm yourself, but just to check in and make sure, have you had any negative thoughts about yourself lately?
No.
Okay. One thing I did hear you mention is that you're working 2 jobs. I'm curious if you might be open to re-examining your stress level coming from those jobs.
Yeah, I think I'm going to let the retail job go, just because a lot of standing, a lot of lifting, a lot of hard work, and just keep my teaching job at the school since I get to sit down and do most of my work. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's a positive thing for you, to try to manage some of your stress a little bit better since you're having some complications with your pregnancy, and I know that you said you're having a lot of anxiety with the pregnancy. So taking something off your plate would probably be a good alternative for you right now. I'm wondering, you mentioned your husband. Have you talked with him about this yet?
Yeah, I did. We really didn't go much into details about it. I just, told him that I wouldn't be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
He was fine with that.
Okay, all right. So would you be open to maybe having a conversation with him, being a little more direct about taking something off your plate at this point?
Yeah, we've had that conversation.
Okay.
And I mean, honestly, I think he heard me.
Okay.
I think he was really listening. I don't think it's sunk in yet that some finances on my part are about to be cut short.
Okay.
But it'll be fine.
Okay. So he's aware that this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Just maybe needs to come to reality a little bit more with how things are going to change in your financial situation.
Right.
Okay. Crystal, from what we've been talking about, it sounds like you're really having a high level of anxiety. I can imagine as your pregnancy goes on that when you come closer to your term, that just because the term that you lost your other children, that your anxiety may worsen. If it works out for you to continue attending the support group that we talked about earlier at the hospital, I think this would be a really good outlet for you to discuss your feelings and maybe even form some friendships and other systems of support. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Okay, great. In the next few weeks, I want you to keep a close watch on your anxiety. High levels can not only affect you physically, but they can affect your baby as well. I'll give you a log that will make it easier for you to record your levels of anxiety from day to day. If you begin to feel yourself having trouble functioning in any of your everyday activities, for example, you miss work because you're feeling really anxious and having lots of worries about the pregnancy, or you're experiencing chest pains or any types of shortness of breath, those are all associated with anxiety and your anxiety getting higher. So I'd like for you to give me a call if you start to experience any of that stuff. I know several different healthcare providers in the community that I can connect you with to help address your anxiety if it worsens. So does that sound like something you'd be willing to do?
Yes.
So I think at this point we have enough information for us to begin working on a plan together. How does that sound?
That sounds very good.
Okay. So we've talked about you following up with some of the OBGYNs that I gave you a list of. You also mentioned that you'll be willing to give the group with other women who are newly pregnant following a miscarriage a try at the hospital. And we talked about you keeping a close check on your stress levels and possibly talking a little bit more with your husband about losing one of the jobs that you have right now to try to decrease some of the stress that you have. What are some things that you might do to help manage some of your fears about the pregnancy in the meantime?
Prayer.
Okay.
That's basically all I have right now. Prayers and hope, because nothing has changed anyway. And hopefully a new doctor that is more sympathetic to my feelings and this pregnancy and is willing to give it his best shot. I know he's not some miracle worker, but if he can promise me he will give me his all to helping me carry this baby full term, then that's all I can ask for.
Okay. So you're going to be using your prayer and your strong faith base through this time as you try to find a new doctor that can be more sympathetic towards what you're going through, and also being very dedicated to helping you to carry your son to term.
Yes.
So we've talked about a plan for you gaining back a greater understanding of your condition. Let's review that plan now. Can you tell me what that plan looks like from your point of view?
It looks good. It gives me some sort of hope that I can have a successful, pregnancy. Just kind of ready to go forward.
Okay. Tell me some of the steps you're going to take.
Well, the first thing I'm going to do is call the doctors and try to get in a few visits to see who I feel is going to help me best. I will attend the groups just because it would be nice to be around others, not just because they've been through what I've been through, but just to have some adult interaction since I'm by myself most of the time.
Right.
And whatever else I need to do.
All right. Glad to see you again, Crystal. You look so much brighter today than the last time I saw you a couple of weeks ago. Tell me about some of the progress you've been making with your plan.
Well, I found a doctor. I absolutely love going to the 28 place. I knew nothing. Honestly, I would have never known that place was there had you not told me about it. We were able to get some testing done. We were able to kind of figure out what was going on. We were able to do a surgery. He put in a cerclage, and I take shots every week. And instead of me going to the doctor, once a month, I go twice out of a month, and I'll do that, up until I have the baby.
Okay.
So everything's been going pretty good, and the support group is very helpful. The women are very friendly. Everyone is so nice, and it feels good to have this hope again that I can be a mother, because there was, when I first came, I honestly didn't think that I would ever be able to have kids, and I thought about how that would affect, me as a woman, how that would affect my marriage, and despite, a lot of the changes, my husband has come around, with being a little bit more supportive, things have started looking upward, so.
Yeah, I'm so impressed with you and how much progress you've made, and I hope that you're proud of yourself too. It sounds like you've got a doctor, you're on board with that, you're seeing them more regularly, and they're a lot better than a doctor you had before that was just not very sympathetic towards what you were going through, and they weren't able to narrow down what's really going on with you. And so I put together a list of mental health resources for you in the area, just for you to reference if you should ever feel like you need them. I would recommend seeking services as you continue throughout the process of being pregnant and postpartum as well. So I'll give that list to you before you leave today.
Okay.
And I just want you to know that if you ever need me in the future, you have my information, so you can give me a call.
Great.
All right, thanks.